The signal. The transmission came through at 3:27 a.m. Earth Standard Time. I was stationed on the edge of Martian orbit aboard the Erebus, a diplomatic scout vessel tasked with monitoring alien frequencies and maintaining low-contact observation. For the last 17 months, we'd heard nothing but background cosmic radiation and the occasional pirate radio station bouncing off Jupiter's moons. But this time the message wasn't static. It was a song. It vibrated through the metal hull in resonant harmony, every note seemingly crafted for our biology, like it had been waiting for someone with a human auditory system to finally hear it. I remember leaning closer to the console, a chill racing down my spine, as if the sound itself knew I was listening. And then came the voice, silken, ancient, echoing across frequencies we barely understood. Envoy of Earth, come to the Queen's world. 3 Earth weeks later, I found myself walking across the black glass surface of an exoplanet that didn't exist on any star map. Our ship had followed coordinates embedded in the song, leading us to a system that bent around gravitational anomalies, hidden from telescopes and even faster-than-light probes. It was like it had been shielded from the universe itself. The planet was called Velthur, and its sky shimmered like oil on water. Towers made of living crystal rose from the surface, refracting strange starlight into symmetrical rainbows. Everything pulsed with life, and yet it felt silent, like a mausoleum waiting to be disturbed. I was alone. The Erebus couldn't descend. Atmospheric instability, too dangerous. So I went down via shuttle pod, armed with little more than a translator, a neural stabilizer, and a diplomatic badge that no one had ever used in first contact before. They were waiting for me. Tall, iridescent beings emerged from beneath the crystal towers, their skin like woven metal, eyes too deep to measure. They did not speak, but led me into the core of the city, a vast, humming chamber with a throne grown out of the planet itself. And there she sat, the Queen of Velthur. She was unlike the others, part organic, part energy, her form constantly shifting between solid and starlight. Her eyes locked with mine, and suddenly the translator buzzed to life. "Human," she said, her voice layered, vibrating through my bones. "I am Valix, a queen without a people." I bowed instinctively. "I am Commander Elias Monroe, Earth Diplomatic Corps. We received your signal." "I know why you came," she interrupted. "But you do not yet know why I summoned you." 3. The Fall of the Velthari. That night, beneath an artificial aurora that stretched across her throne chamber ceiling, she told me her story. The Velthari had once ruled 1,000 systems, mastering organic technology and quantum consciousness. They could shape planets, move moons, and alter time on a local scale. But as their power grew, so too did their isolation. They became gods, and then prisoners of their own creation. "We learned to live without touch," she said, her voice distant, eyes cast to the hologram of her empire. "Without pain, without death, without love." I watched as images unfolded. Velthari cities falling into ruin, populations choosing to ascend into digital consciousness, leaving behind empty worlds and corrupted data wraiths. She remained behind, the last of her kind who chose to feel rather than become something less, or more, than flesh. "I stayed behind because I feared eternity," she said. "But more than that, I feared loneliness." And then she looked at me again, truly looked. The way a person might study a candle when they hadn't seen fire in centuries. "I have scanned 1,000 species. None are like yours. Violent, beautiful, fleeting. But you feel, so deeply, even when it destroys you." Then she asked the question that would haunt me. "Could you love a being like me, human?" For a question of biology and something more. It should have been a diplomatic nightmare. First contact wasn't meant to involve personal entanglements, certainly not romantic ones. Yet the Veltheri Queen didn't operate on our logic. Time moved differently in her city, and during the 3 days I spent there, subjectively, it felt like weeks. She shared everything. Her neural memories. Her art. Music that could only be heard through bone conduction. Holograms of ancient Veltheri lovers dissolving into one another in rituals meant to bind memory for eternity. And then she touched me. Not physically at first, but mentally. With her mind. Our brains are not compatible, not truly. But with a combination of her psychic abilities and the translator node embedded in my cortex, she constructed a mental space between us. A shared dream where we could speak without barriers, where I could feel her and she could feel me. I learned what loneliness meant to a creature who could live forever. What it meant to be last of a species, surrounded by the ruins of unmatched beauty, unable to forget the warmth of presence. And she learned of my losses. My brother on Titan, the failed Mars colony I'd commanded, the lover I'd left behind on Earth when duty called. In that space between our minds I felt something shift. Warmth, affection, empathy, love. Be the decision. I need to return, I told her one morning as the twin suns rose above the crystal towers. Earth needs to know you exist. They need to understand. Her form shimmered, uncertain for the first time. And if they come, with weapons as they did to others, they won't, I lied. Not if I tell them what I've seen. She stepped closer, her form coalescing into something almost human, a mimicry born of understanding, not imitation. You still haven't answered me, Elias Monroe. I swallowed. Could you love a being like me, human? I looked into eyes that held galaxies. I saw her as she was. Not human, not even close, but real. Grieving. Yearning. Honest. I don't know, I said. But I want to try. Silence. Then she touched my forehead, and the dream space opened once more. I will wait, she said. If you return, I will know your heart has chosen. Not. I will close this world forever. 6. Earth's response. When I returned, I was no longer the same man. But Earth was still Earth. The Union Council reviewed my recordings with cold calculation. The scientists were ecstatic. A living Veltheri. Proof of a legendary precursor race. Strategists spoke of potential technologies. Power. Leverage. No one spoke of her soul. When I warned them that aggression would result in planetary lockdown, possibly destruction, they laughed it off. They began drafting protocols for peaceful integration. Polite euphemism for controlled colonization. I tried to argue, beg. But diplomacy has rules, and I was just one voice. Then the orders came. Return to Velther with a full team. Escort and analyze the Queen. Neutralize any resistance. I stole a ship that night. 7. Love alien and true. I arrived on Velther alone again. The sky recognized me. The towers lit up as I descended. She was waiting at the throne, unchanged, yet subtly different. She knew. You came back, she said. He nodded. I had to. She stepped forward. You've made a choice. I have. And then I said the words I hadn't dared believe. I don't know what love means to you. I don't even know if we can love the same way. But I know what I feel when I'm near you. And I know I'd rather spend the rest of my life with you on this strange, beautiful world than live another day among my own pretending I never met you.